Hey there, welcome to my channel Jackie Talks Horror. I'm Jackie, and today I'm excited to be doing a pretty much spoiler-free review of the Irish horror thriller Double Blind from 2023. So the official plot synopsis from IMDb reads, after an experimental drug goes awry, the test subjects face a terrifying side effect. If you fall asleep, you die. Trapped in an isolated facility, panic ensues as they try to escape and somehow stay awake. Now, just in case you don't know what a double-blind study is, it's one where neither the participants nor the doctors and nurses carrying out the drug trial know who is receiving a particular treatment or the placebo, nor indeed have any idea of what the drug is. This procedure is utilised to prevent bias in search results. So let's dive straight into the review with the characters. First of all, let's talk about Claire, played by Millie Brady, our main character. She is the person we experience this movie through mostly. And one thing we find out as we go is that she has some problems of her own and her own reasons for being there. Millie does a really good job, as she practically has to carry the movie on her shoulders, as most of the attention is on her character. Other than her, there are really only a couple of other characters that made any impact, on me at least anyway, and they are Alison, played by Abby Fitz. She is one of Claire's roomies. She's very chatty, seems really nice, and adds a bit of warmth and levity to the scenes that she's in. Then there's Amir, played by Ash K. Kumar. He's a medical student and the film's science dump guy. He's the one who explains all the overall science of sleep deprivation and what is going on with their brains to both the other characters in the movie and to us in the audience. He is also the only source of hope for the group, as he seems to be the only person that stands a chance of helping them get out of there alive. And honestly, he's one of the few characters that feel essential. Then Dr. Burke, played by Pollyanna McIntosh. Now she starts off cold, but as the situation spirals out of control, she seems genuinely torn between following orders and wanting to help. She's a pivotal link to the pharmaceutical company behind the experiment, but ultimately, she follows her orders. Pollyanna does a really good job of emphasising her inner turmoil and the changes in attitude that the character goes through. The others in the medical trial with Claire are Ray, played by Diarmuid Noyes, Paul, played by Brennan O'Connor, Marcus, played by Frank Blake, and Vanessa, played by Shona Marie. None of these get much development, but one thing we do find out is that they have been together in other medical trials before, whereas for Claire and Alison, this is their first trial. The other doctors and nurses just serve a role by being there to administer the drugs as instructed. Okay, so let's move on to the plot. The plot is pretty straightforward. Mysterious trial where things go wrong, and that escalates to fall asleep and you'll die. Once the auditory and visual hallucinations start kicking in, they do a really good job of having that trippy, disorientating vibe, and you do get some sense of what the characters are going through when they have them. And although the hallucinations are very terrifying and pretty realistic, you do get used to identifying them when they come to those scenes. There aren't many twists, and I think you can pretty much guess where this is going, but that didn't harm my enjoyment of it, as in, it's the journey, not the destination. And now we come to the film's second strongest point, the atmosphere and cinematography. The setting was clinical, the atmosphere was claustrophobic and unsettling, with well-used shots like long empty corridors and empty spaces in big rooms, which emphasised how isolated the characters were, and how far from help they really were. And this added to the sense of hopelessness and paranoia. And the clock? It's a constant reminder as to how long they had been in there, and later on, it changed to a literal countdown on their survival. The score ramps up with the tension just at the right moments, adding to the overall feeling of unease. Okay, now we come to this movie's strong point, in my view anyway, the pacing. This movie gets straight to the point, with the trial kicking off in the first 10 minutes. From there, things happen fast, and I mean crazy fast. It's a compact film, checking in at just about 90 minutes, and it keeps the intensity cranked up throughout, and before you know it, you're plunged into the third act. Okay, so overall, The film's moderate gore and surreal dreamlike sequences kept it visually interesting. The hallucinatory, both audio and visual sequences were well used, blurring the lines between what's real and what's imagined definitely kept me on the edge of my seat. This was not a super original film, but its short runtime stopped any boredom and time absolutely flew by. The acting was solid overall, but again, the lack of depth in the characters held the film back. Honestly, none of the characters were well developed, and it seemed like we found maybe one or two things about each of them, but nothing more was fleshed out. In horror, I feel you need to care about what happens to the characters, so this knocked a few points off for me. So I could have used an extra 15 minutes in the film for more character development, which would have made the stakes seem more real. The makeup was good, as you could see the physical deterioration in the characters, as well as the mental toll that the lack of sleep was taking. Now, the writer, Derek McGarrigle, and director Ian Hunt Duffy of this film have done a couple of shorts together, so I guess they work together well. This is the first feature-length film for the director Ian Hunt Duffy, and he does a really good job of getting the tense atmosphere and the quick pacing of the film just right. And now we come to the ratings. The film lost points on character development, as like I said, that's an important aspect for film for me, especially horror, as we're meant to worry about our characters and actually care about what happens to them. It also loses points for originality. It borrows heavily from other locked-in-one-location movies, but the pacing kept it from feeling slow or dragging. So I give it 2 out of 5 for originality. I think this film borrows from so many others. It's still its own thing, and people are going to pick up from where they've seen something like this from before. It gets 3 out of 5 for gore. It's just decent enough. It'll satisfy gore lovers, but nothing too extreme. For enjoyment, it gets 3 out of 5. It does have rewatch value. Time flies when watching it. I've seen it twice now, and the second time I enjoyed it just as much as I did the first. Overall, I would say it gets a respectable 3 out of 5. This is a nice little horror movie thriller that doesn't take up much of your time, but does stay in your mind afterwards, if only for the what happens if you don't go to sleep part of it. I liked it, and I had fun watching it. I would recommend this one if you want something fun, quick and interesting, and I think it's a great entry movie into the horror genre, as it's heavy on suspense and pretty mild with the horror and gore. So that's all for this review. If you're into horror thrillers with a twist and plenty of atmosphere, give Double Blind a watch. It's streaming at the moment of recording this video on Tubi. Have you seen the movie yet? What did you think of it? Leave your comments down below, but do remember to be respectful down there, and remember this is only my opinion. It would be a boring world if we all like the same things. And hey, if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more horror reviews. Trust me, you won't want to miss the reviews coming next on this channel. This is Jackie signing off. Take care and see you next time.